What's up? My name is Eric Butler. This channel is called Report and Opine. I am back. And from the SF gate, I was laid off from Twitter. Then I had to say goodbye to San Francisco. Britt Purdy, a former Twitter employee, on saying goodbye to a city she loved after layoffs. Yeah, well, I'm sure you're not the only one. We all saw the TikToks. We saw the Instagram reels of you guys going to the kombucha bar and having lunch on the rooftop and not doing any work outside of trying to censor people that you don't agree with. So yeah, you got fired. And I could really care less if Twitter just goes the way of MySpace or Blockbuster or whatever. I don't think we need it. I think it's the foundation of the demise we're dealing with now. So we'd be better off without it. That's a different story. She says, the morning we taped up the final cardboard boxes to load into our moving truck rental was unseasonal for San Francisco. I thought the city would say farewell with one of its sunny days when the mist twists like a ribbon through a bright blue sky so you can see only the bottom and top of Sutro Tower. Instead, Carl made his displeasure in us known with dense fog, accompanied by a brisk wind that blew the mist into our faces and seeped into our cardboard boxes in the driveway. Wow. They're really trying to paint a picture here. They're trying to write this beautiful graphic novel about being fired from Twitter. This is pathetic. Leaving the city wasn't my choice. My entire team and I were eliminated after a wave of tech layoffs at Twitter in November. As a result, my family was unable to stay in the U.S. due to complicated and not so complicated visa issues. I learned my family had 60 days to get out of the country. Oh, well, too bad, right? I guess you could just stay and you'll get everything handed to you if you just tell them you're illegal, right? You could just stick around. You don't have to go anywhere. Why play by the rules? We know, of course, for a fact, you can go to New York and stay in a 5-star hotel on the taxpayer dime. So, shred your paperwork and just tell them you're illegal, right? That's what we've learned in the past couple of months is that if you are Ukrainian, if you live in Ukraine or you hop the border fence, then everything's free. You don't have to worry about it. So just stick around and tell them you're illegal and you won't have to worry about paying for anything. But of course, they want to make this a sob story about somebody who has to leave the country because big, bad, mean Elon Musk fired them. And now these poor immigrant people who are probably getting paid $250,000 a year to censor people on Twitter. That's my guess, right? So cry me a river, I gave myself 30 days to look for new sponsorship so I could use the 30 days to put in my notice for my lease and daughter's daycare, buy tickets home, say goodbye to friends, pack up our lives. Each day was punctuated with news of layoffs at many of the companies I was applying to. Yeah, because they all overbought and you guys were useless. You're just sucking up cat. You guys are getting paid these astronomical amounts of money to basically do nothing, as I understand it. And the world keeps on spinning without you. We don't need you. So you were lucky. It was fun while it lasted, huh? So the pool of job seekers continued to grow. I could not find new sponsorship. Of course. Why would they? Why would somebody stick their neck out for you after you just got fired from Twitter for probably spending all day at the kombucha bar on lunch? The many hours I had spent completing steps for a green card were also dashed. Oh, poor migrant. So why don't you work for the SF Gate? They're not going to sponsor you. You're writing this article for the SF Gate. They're not going to bring you on? According to the Wall Street Journal, since last year, more than 250,000 people have been laid off in the tech industry by companies like Google, Microsoft, Amazon, and Facebook. Yeah, well, this is the world we live in. This is the world that you guys basically created. And it's a little bubble, right? It's a tech bubble. We saw it 2 decades ago, or was it 3 decades ago now? It happens because you guys overbought. You overplayed the hand. Let's see. It's estimated that tens of thousands of workers on temporary visas were part of that number. L1 visa workers who are transferred internationally by an employer like I was cannot port their visa to a new employer like those under an H-1B can. If you have a spouse under an L1 status, it also means they lose their authorization to work in the U.S. Oh, so sad. The poor Twitter employee should have stayed where you were at, huh? I don't even know where she came from. Well, maybe they'll tell us. I started working at Twitter Canada in 2017. The curation team on the curation team and relocated to San Francisco in February 2020. I was hesitant to move when the opportunity presented itself and even listed all the reasons to my husband why we shouldn't live in San Fran. This is before I learned never to use this nickname, blah, blah, blah. Oh, how cute. Then we visited. We sat in the backyard of Blackbird Bookstore and decided right then that the opportunity to work and live here was something we couldn't pass up. I spent a couple of blissful weeks in Twitter HQ before the wave of uncertainty and panic hit me. And they also want to paint Elon Musk as so this woman is a poor victim. She's an immigrant and she lost her job, and Elon Musk is a big bad man. Now, he might be, but maybe not for the reasons that they're trying to paint it as, in my opinion. We arrived just 3 weeks before the pandemic started, and California was one of the first states to declare a lockdown. Soon after, the skies blazed orange due to wildfires. So we're going to paint this picture of their whole time in San Francisco. Yet we still made friends. We went on long walks through Golden Gate Park, where I marveled at the eucalyptus and cypress trees. This is corny. This is corny. This is just a sob story of a woman getting fired. This is news now. I guess I'm covering it, unfortunately. San Francisco is a city with many challenges, homelessness and inequality, to name a few. Yeah, you're part of that. You worked at Twitter probably getting paid a hefty sum of money, and you're talking about inequality. Why don't you give some of that salary to somebody shooting dope under the bridge? How about that? You're not going to do that because you just want to talk about it. You just want to virtue signal. It's all fake. We know that. We see it left and right. Obviously, with Rona, they tell you can't even leave the house. Then Nancy Pelosi goes to get her hair done. Then Gavin Newsom and London Breed go to the French Laundry, while you can't even go into Applebee's without proof of paperwork. The San Francisco I remember is dominated by the outer sunset, an area many glaze over on their maps. It's a vibrant palette that's weathered by ocean winds. Whenever my husband and I drove home from the mission, there was a discernible, sometimes punishing chill in the air as soon as we hit Sunset Boulevard. Yeah, I know the area well, and she's painting this very beautiful yet corny picture of their time in San Francisco. My daughter was born at UCSF Mission Bay, and the city is her home. Oh, well, they got an anchor baby. They can't stay with that? How does that work? This is all super corny. It goes on. Look at this. Anyone who has spent significant time in San Francisco knows how special it is, especially the fact that mountains, snow, ocean, redwoods are all within a morning's commute. After 3 years, I'm sad to say farewell for now, but also so grateful I got to spend time in the city by the bay. Okay, well, look, San Francisco used to be a great place when I was a kid. When I was a kid, it was probably still terrible, but better than it is now. And I just didn't know because that was the only place I knew at the time. So this weird, corny farewell piece somehow made it to the SF Gate, and this woman can't get the SF Gate to sponsor her, so farewell, I guess. And hopefully Twitter will fall by the wayside sooner rather than later. But thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, and of course, subscribe.